Yo,
Let's no longer waste time. Let's podcast. Is this 10?
I think, I don't know, 10?
I
This
think this is
feels like
episode
it.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start with a quick disclaimer. We might take a couple weeks off.
Yeah.
This grueling 1 hour and 20 minutes once
It's
a
a
week
lot.
schedule of ours is starting to catch up.
Well, we need to go have some life experiences to have something to talk about, or I need to go watch more documentaries. So I feel like I sound like I know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I'll
And
bone up on some stuff.
I just need to go to the vacation and not have
Yeah.
to worry about bringing a computer.
Or a microphone.
Yeah. So we're schlepping a microphone back and forth to the beach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up at the beach this morning. So this is a disclaimer too.
Wait, you were at the beach and you drove? Oh, you used to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember when you used
It's like
to
a
do
commute.
that. Yeah.
I feel like every episode I start with like, I just have to let you know I am hungover, tired, sick. That like there's always an excuse for
Right.
why I could potentially suck. Is it just an insecurity or are they real?
Probably. Yeah, because you're always in the pocket because I love you. You know that. You're always good. If you hear beeping, I'm just letting you know that another disclaimer. They're working on my street and repaving it. Why they're doing that now in the middle of like touristy season, whatever. State of Maryland, County of Talbot, I don't know. But there might be slight beeping or yelling.
Well, the next question would be, if it's noisy outside, why are you outside now?
Because my house is like, I literally was in my office and it was louder. So I'm at the back of my house. The front of the house is where where all the magic's happening. So I'm hiding in the back of the house on my porch.
Got it. So I woke up at the beach this morning, drove here. It's about a 2.5 hour commute from there to my office. I stay here for a couple days, then drive back. That's usually where my family is. And I was on the phone for like 2 of the 2.5 hours.
Ooh,
just
client?
knocking off phone calls.
Yeah.
So I was talking for 2 hours.
Now you're going to talk more.
Now I'm going to talk more.
That
so if my voice starts to go, that's why.
I'll pick up your slack, do a puppet show.
Are you
or something like that?
I'm like when I have drives, like I love talking on the phone.
Really?
Love it.
Oh,
because it knocks off. Like I forget where I am. Like it kills time.
Yeah, I'm on two sides of that. I guess I do, and then the other side is I do like just listening to either a podcast or music. Like there's times where I'm like, if I'm not in the mood to talk, but if I feel like I can get some phone call conversations out of the way, then I'll do that. I'll make some calls.
I had one call with our head of finances here at the office, and she's one of those people who gets up at like 5.
Yeah.
Like goes to bed at 9, 9:30, wakes up at 5. So I called her 8. I'm thinking like, is this too early to call? But I don't realize like that's almost lunchtime for her.
Yeah. So that's funny because I'm getting up a lot earlier. And what's ironic, which we can also talk about, is not being employed, but I'm still getting up like super early. You would think like, oh, I'm getting up at like noon. No, I'm getting up a lot earlier. And I don't mind going to bed at I've gone to bed at like 8:45 because I'm like, fuck it, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. What else am I going to do? You know what I mean? So I'm with her. Like I have slowly become a morning person.
Huh.
But I'm not one of those morning people that like jumps out of bed and like, I'm like, this is the best. I think that's Hollywood. I don't think anyone jumps out of bed like that. I think people, because once you're up, you're up. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter what hour it is. Just like you're either refreshed or you're not. And that's sort of where I am. So I just get up. Like today I was up at 6, like 6 something. Yeah.
Yeah, I got up at 7 and like had to drag myself out of bed.
Right.
Like just because I would have stayed in bed. I would have tried to fall back asleep had I not had to drive here. What's funny too is like when I'm pulling out of our little carport area at the beach, like I'm seeing joggers, bikers, like couples taking a walk, and I'm like, really?
Yeah. I mean,
There's
it's
a
a whole,
whole world. Like there's stuff going on.
There's a whole world out there, people doing stuff. So what's the latest you would think on average, your median of sleeping in? What's that number?
It's gotten so much earlier. Sleeping in for me would be waking up at 8.
Okay.
Then falling back asleep at 8:30.
Mm.
And then getting up at maybe 10.
10. Okay. Yeah.
My wife gets up, like she could probably sleep until 10:30, 11.
Oh, wow.
But we go to bed at like 1:30.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like it's, I'm sleeping 12 hours. It's still 7 hours.
Right. It's just
8 hours.
You're up later.
Much later. Like we're night owls. Like we'll watch TV or shows or whatever we're doing on the couch until for sure after midnight. But usually it goes close to 1. And it depends on what kind of day I have.
Right.
I'll pull the plug and just say, "Look, I gotta go to bed."
Now, do your kids have the same sleep schedule? Like,
not as us.
I'm sure. Of course, they're not going to bed at 1.
Oh, they're drinking until midnight.
And like, do they stay in later than average kids? Like the average kid, to me, the ones I've been around, the few, they get up at the crack of dawn. Like, I still think that's funny. Like as a child, like a toddler, just getting up at the crack of dawn. Like, why are you up?
No, they're now like, because they're 13 and 12.
Oh yeah,
so they're just now starting to get into like that sleep until 10:30, 11.
Oh, okay.
Like they're getting into those teenage on weekends. They can do that.
Right.
They go to bed, like we say goodnight to them at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
They might not fall asleep until 11.
Right.
But like that, we put them to bed, like especially during school. Like I think we put them into bed at 9:30, and then we'll check on them at 10 to make sure that they're not on their phone or like.
Yeah. Do you know if they're on their phones or stuff like that? Like, do you know?
Yeah. I don't. Like we just trust them.
Do you track them at all? Like on your phone? Like exactly where they are?
Nope.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah. I bet that's common.
I mean, they're 12 and it's not like they could be far, right?
Right. No.
We don't read their text messages and stuff. I follow nice. my oldest is on TikTok. I follow her just to make sure that things aren't going south.
Yeah, she's not all of a sudden getting 30,000 followers.
I just love when I'm watching them TikTok. It's so great. Like I'll just be like walking downstairs and like the crack like their bedroom door will be open a little bit, and I'll see the two of them like doing something, you know. And then they stop and they walk over and they push a little button and they go back. And I'm just like, what is this? Like you and I had Legos.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm torn between it because part of me thinks it's great. It's a creative outlet, and any house mom, anyone with a phone, any dude who's just sitting by himself can just put something together and be creative and or just dance and or just mouth sync to something else. And we can all agree that's maybe a form of creativity. It's an outlet. But the other side of me is like, we all just look like fucking idiots. Like just fucking dancing. Like, have you walked into or by someone doing like a social media TikTok thing
all the time?
And you're just like, here? Like, what? But it's the fuck are you doing?
I spend so much time on the beach over the summer, and that's all young people do on the beach.
I was in Vegas last year.
And there's like full blown photo shoots too.
Yeah.
Like
I was in Vegas and this teenage girl was having like a full on, and she kept going like this. And then she would look at her phone and then she'd put her phone back and go. And this was all day at the pool. And and her parents are just sitting there on their phones, not thinking anything of it. And she changed her sunglasses, and I was just riveted. I couldn't stop watching this whole thing go down. And I then felt like a weirdo because she's, a teenager, and I'm just staring like what is she doing?
Right.
Like, how is she helping? Like, and maybe it's not about that. And I'm just an old grumpy guy, and I'm just like, get off my yard. But I'm more like, I just don't get it once in a while. Like, I get some things, and I think the internet's fucking hilarious once in a while, and it makes you laugh once in a while. And other times I'm like, we're a bunch of fucking idiots. We're just a bunch of idiots. And the other part that drives me nuts, and I've probably said this 100 times, so 101, I can't go to live music anymore because everyone's got their fucking phones in the air. Like, just enjoy what's happening in front of you. And it's ruined for me. Like, I just can't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, this is what I struggle with, right? Because you just said something. You go, it's so,
Yeah.
Like it really is so dumb, or we're old and we don't understand it.
Exactly.
Like, it's not dumb to millions. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, it's almost equivalent to like, our parents watching The Simpsons being like, stupid, it's a cartoon,
Right.
or like,
yeah.
Our kids being like, well, you grew up with like the Adam West Batman. Like, how stupid was that show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we don't get it. That's what, that's the truth I'm having trouble adapting to, is like, I don't get the dances or like the kind of TikTok memes where it's like always the same audio, but different people doing stuff. But like, it might just be because I'm old and I don't get it, and it's gotten by me. I don't find entertainment in the little dances.
Does that make us out of touch marketers or advertisers for our clients, that we just don't get a whole platform? Like, I've been in a meeting where they were talking about TikTok, and I literally just deferred to someone. I was like, I don't know, man. I just think it's a bunch of people in their kitchen dancing. So I don't know. So I'm going to pass.
I know enough about it. Like, I follow it. I look at it. I mean, some of the reels, like when you're scrolling, there's some funny shit. Like,
there's funny shit.
Yeah.
And you can be really creative with it.
Yeah.
So there's nuggets, and I don't know how many there are, but sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's creative. And think about, like, just if you or I had that technology, how different things would have been by just making short little films or short little vignettes or short little things. And it's not stopping us now, but there's a part of you where I'm like, I'm not going to dance in my kitchen. I mean, I'm sure like there's at least 7 people, maybe 10 would want to see that, but not 25,000.
Right.
I met this young couple, and the girl, they're in their early 20s. She has like 25,000 followers on TikTok. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a lot. It seems like a lot.
It's probably a lot.
She just fucking dances in her bathroom.
Is she cute?
I'm with clothes on.
Well, that's the thing too, that like when I look through TikTok, and there's like a lot of like, it's basically 80s Cinemax, right? Like there is a lot of risque, sexual innuendo, girls who clearly go on there with their, they drop their dress low and they'll bend over, like they know what they're doing, right?
That's what, I'll
and
take your word for it.
There's a lot of that. That to me, that's the like a lot of that.
Right.
Like hours and hours that I spend looking at it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's
right.
I can tell you, John, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
But I'm on TikTok enough looking for the funny that I can understand it, because I see all the what I consider bullshit, right?
Right.
So as a marketer, someone could say, hey, we need to attract 15-year-olds. I'd be like, okay, let's invent a dance. Because like I know what works. It doesn't work for me, but I know what works on the platform. Like I know what's trending, what's popular, stuff like that.
We can come up with probably content that's relevant to the brand, and then say, well, this is just the platform that it's going to be on, or we need to, but now it's just like, we need to find an influencer that does blank, 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 blank. Okay.
I mean, but is that any different than like, John Madden doing tough acting, tin acting? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, like celebrity spokespeople on TV, influencers on social media. It's like the same. It seems lazy.
Yeah.
Hey, if we give this deodorant to Kanye West, we're going to sell deodorant. Like if we give this bathing suit to this hot woman with 2 million followers, we're going to sell bathing suits. It's not
maybe
different.
Yeah, but I always use I have 2 words: Brad Pitt. You just give him something, he can just hold it up. Yeah, done. If we can afford him, Brad Pitt. What's he going to say? Who cares? It's Brad Pitt. He's just holding up the thing, and that's it. So yeah, I just TikTok. I just, your daughters. I was having a conversation the other day about how I think, and just stop me. We can just.
We got to get to spaghetti, because we owe
AI.
Spaghetti topic.
AI is going to change everything, I think, and I don't know anything, but I heard this podcast talking about AI and how media is going to change and how eventually, not our generation, and maybe your kids' kids, if they have kids, where you're just going to be able to come up with scenarios and speak into a Siri or a box, a magic box, and say, I really want to watch Tom Cruise in a World War II film, and his romantic interest is Selma Hayek, and just come up with things. And then AI will pull that together and create media and create content. So think about it, even from and I've always said the porn industry is always on the cutting edge of technology. They were the first to had e-com. They were the first to had that streaming. So they were literally the first vertical that always has the latest technology because they have to. They always have to be, because it used to be, if you think about it, porn was in film, like movie theaters. And then all of a sudden they were like, well, there's this VHS beta thing. They were the first to adopt it. And then they kept going on and on.
Remember the adult rooms at the old video stores? Did you have one of those?
Yeah. And it had like a curtain.
Yeah.
And then there was just all these different videos. Well, we had one of the very first Betamaxes because on the back of we were given a business card and just said 7. That's how early we had a Betamax. And there was probably 10 films you could see, and they were all rated R. So when I was 11, I saw like some rated R films. So I was like, wow, that was something. But everything else was porn. But if you think about it, like AI is going to change how porn's made. You're going to not need really anything because you can come up with whatever your imagination and AI can handle. And AI will scrape and pull together that scenario. And that's what you're going to be able to watch, whatever you want. And I think that's where things are going. We're no longer going to be constricted to what the producer wanted or what the director wanted. It's going to be like what you want and who you want in the thing. And that's going to be media. But that's weird. But I think, I don't know. I was all on board when I was listening. I was like, yeah, I'm glad I'm be dead. But you know what I mean?
Well, you won't. You'll be alive in someone else's AI.
And you and I are going to be talking, yelling about that. We'll be like, these kids and making their movies.
I don't get it. Why would Tom Cruise and Selma Hayek be in a World War II?
That's dumb.
You know what? One thing that will not be in my AI porn? Me.
You won't be in it?
Will not be. No. Like, we're not, my wife and I are definitely not a sex tape couple, but like even the thought of doing something
right
where I have to see like how kids are grossed out by their parents.
Right. Yeah.
I'm grossed out by my kids.
By you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
Like, because every once in a while I'll catch a mirror and I'm just like, oh man, this is not what I see on my phone when I'm alone.
The good news is there's only you. Like if we scrape the internet for you, it's just this talking and maybe more talking. Some
social media pages, basically.
Yeah.
Some like articles.
You're not
marketing
in
articles.
Situations where there's body movement. You know what I mean? Like Tom Cruise. I don't know if there's porn. I don't know. But there's enough of his content that you can put together something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's we're even hearing now at the end of that Bourdain movie, that documentary, the last minute and a half was all AI. So someone read it and they had enough of his voice that they could pull together the voice. And Andy Warhol Diaries, this documentary, was voiced over by Andy Warhol, but it was actors reading the diary entries and then AI putting a voice to the actor's voice. So it sounded like they had enough of Andy Warhol's voice that they could then replicate what his voice did and the inflection of what his voice did. But it was someone reading the actual diaries. And that's like just what we are exposed to as an AI. So that's just words, someone talking. Eventually, it's just going to be like, I want to see this and that and the style of that. And it just shows up and there it is.
And we'll be dead.
We'll be dead. It's cool. I'm cool with it.
Let's
talk about spaghetti.
You want to talk about spaghetti?
A bug flew in my water. Should I drink it? Not the bug, but just the water.
Yeah.
The fuck. Let's do it. All right.
So, like, I love spaghetti, right? let me let me.
I almost did a spit take. We're going right in.
Right.
I love spaghetti.
Yeah. And
all right.
And how funny is that line? I love spaghetti. Whatever.
I mean,
but
end of podcast. Great. Right. That was a really good talk.
I do. Like, my wife makes a great meat sauce.
Right.
I love it. Spaghetti for me, and I never learned because I keep doing it, but spaghetti is a little bit of a gut bomb for me. Like, it's like a gut grenade. Like, it doesn't go off right away. I will eat a full bowl of spaghetti with meat
how much?
Sauce. It's delicious.
Like bowl, how much?
A bowl. Like a cereal bowl.
This cereal much? Bowl, or this much?
Smaller. Like a cereal bowl. I don't know. Does anyone care?
I do, because more than a cup?
Yeah.
2 cups.
A restaurant portion. Like a healthy bowl. But like
we'll get there.
Like a cereal bowl.
It's a lot
bigger than an ice cream bowl, smaller than like a big salad bowl.
Gotcha.
Cereal bowl. So, and I always eat it from a bowl. I love eating it from a bowl because it's saucy. Like on a plate, you're chasing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like eating out of bowls because I like using the wall, right? Like on a plate, like I put a lot of stuff in bowls. Like on a plate, I'm like, I find myself like, and I have to use my hand.
Chasing it around.
Yep. Yeah. Like whatever it is I'm eating, you put it in a bowl and it's, it's like having a second fork.
I know what to get you for Hanukkah. All right, keep going.
I don't need any bowls. The whole thing is bowls.
We'll see.
You can get me it anyway. I like bowls.
Yeah.
I can't ever use the spoon to twirl.
Oh, I love that.
Do you do that?
I used to when I could eat pasta.
Oh, that's right. You can't. Well, what fun is this going to be?
No, it's good because I can tell you the other side of it.
All right.
And how much I missed it. It's not like I forgot like what pasta was.
but so
what are you talking about?
I can't do the spoon. To me, it just seems like too much work. So what I end up doing is I'll twirl it.
Right.
I'll pick it up. Mm-hmm. It'll, of course, flap down. Right. Like half of it flaps down. I eat it. Then I kind of, and it smacks me in the nose and there's sauce everywhere. And like, that's how I eat spaghetti. Like my wife.
In your home though, right? Not
anywhere there's spaghetti. That's
really
how I eat spaghetti. Yeah.
So if you got a bowl of pasta and you and I and a hypothetical client, and that's how you're going to eat your pasta.
Yep. So that brings me to my next point. I don't ever order spaghetti when I'm out.
Right?
No.
And the minute I hear you order spaghetti, I'm probably going to be like, check, please.
You're going to want napkins.
Right.
You're going to want the bib.
A drop cloth. Napkins.
So wait, we'll unpack
Keep
that
going.
And put that here. Let me get back to, so I will eat a bowl of spaghetti and I'm still hungry and I love it. It's delicious. Right. Mm-hmm. So then I'll always go back for like half a bowl of seconds.
After you ate the full bowl.
Yep.
Jesus. Yep. Okay. It's a lot of food. Keep going.
No. This is what I'm saying. I never learned. Right. So I'll eat the other half bowl of spaghetti. Mm-hmm. And then I'll be like, yeah, now I'm a little bit full. But then it catches up to me even more. Like I said, it's like a gut grenade.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'll go to the couch and I'll be like, I didn't need that second bowl.
No.
I'm like, man, I am stuffed.
Full.
Like full.
Thanksgiving full.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and I'm like, and there's probably garlic bread in the mix too, right?
Right.
My wife always makes garlic bread with the spaghetti.
Maybe a salad.
And I'm like, why did I eat that second bowl?
Right.
And John, I've been doing this for 35 years.
Yeah. This isn't new.
Bowl.
Your stomach knows.
Yeah. It's like I see this thing come flying through the window, this little grenade looking thing. And I'm just like, I wonder what that is. And then it blows up. And it happens over the course of 35 years.
And your stomach is probably like the first bit of spaghetti that comes and hits your stomach. Everyone in that stomach's like, oh,
there's like a siren going off. They're all running for gear. Right? Yeah, they're going down their poles. Right. Like here we go. Right. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And because I love
there's a code word.
Love spaghetti and meat sauce, spaghetti and meatballs, spaghetti and anything. Love
it.
But I never order it at a restaurant. And I think part of the reason is because it's not a good look for me. Spaghetti, because like I said, it's twirl, 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 bring up, falls down, put in the mouth, suck it up, shrapnel.
Well, you know, there's other types of noodle. Like there's.
I'm talking spaghetti though. Yeah, I'll get I'll get ziti or like
yeah.
Like
so we'll just say we'll mend it to pasta. So there's other pastas, but you were now just in the spaghetti. Angel
I'm just in
hair,
the spaghetti world. Twirl like
linguine,
like long noodles.
Right.
Lo mein. Anything in the spaghetti, anything in the spaghetti family that has to twirl, not fit on my fork, and then smack me in the face.
Chinese spaghetti. I miss lo mein too. Ugh.
Like for me, spaghetti is probably P1, certainly top 5 of worst first date meals I could probably have.
Or just meals you could have in front of any human. Right. I mean, if we're going to be honest,
doesn't have to love me unconditionally.
Right. Exactly. That already knows.
I just imagine myself on a date with someone, like conversation's going really good. They put a big, plus it's going to be on a plate, so I'll be chasing it all over the plate. Right.
$2 million count. We're talking about it.
This goes down. I'm twirling. I'm listening. I'm engaged in what she's saying to me.
Yep.
And then
slurp.
You know, I say,
spaghetti starts just flying everywhere.
Yep. And then she's probably just like, "Oh my god!"
Wow.
Like that's. I get, you know, the gavel comes down. I'm not getting a second. After my first bite of pasta.
This guy, right?
Probably the worst. That might be the worst first date. Corn on the cob, I think, is a close second for date food.
Crabs,
because I eat corn on the cob like a wood chipper. Like I go in and I'm like,
right.
Look like a little was it like a beaver?
Right.
A squirrel eating a nut. And I go around, and corn pieces are dropping. It's getting stuck in my teeth. Like corn on the cob to me is a very messy experience. Probably not to most humans.
Right.
To me, it's a disaster.
What food do you think you eat eloquently? Like what you seem to like? Ice cream? Is there a food? Is there a food that you eat
eloquently?
Yeah, like you're like I'm gentle with it, and it's not going all over the place. I'm making like right size bites and
steak.
Okay, yeah, there's a win
because I have to cut it.
You can control the size.
I can control the size.
Yep.
Right. Other stuff, you know, like if it's like even fish, I'll try to control the size with my fork, but then like, you know, like salmon sort of has those like natural
flakes. Yeah.
Where they, so I'll cut it too big, and I'm like, you know, and just shove it.
There it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I think steak. Yeah. I think steak is probably, because even if I do cut too big,
right,
I will cut that in half.
Well, I always think if eating, like I was doing this scenario of like eating spaghetti in front of a client or a potential client. Eating in general in a work environment is odd, because have you ever been in a situation where you order the food and we're the talkers generally, we're the ones that have to talk, and your food's just sitting there and everyone else, Bob from IT, you know, the programmer, that guy, everyone else is eating, but you're going to have to keep your end up of the conversation, and your food's just sitting there, and all you're doing is waiting for someone else to finish chewing and fucking swallow it so they can talk, so I can grab a bite of my sandwich. Like, so I can just eat. I don't know how many times in the 20 years I've been fucking doing this where I was like, can I get this to go? Because I had to talk the entire time, and everyone else is like, full meal. And I've just had nothing, because the client is even like, they're trying to eat, and I'm just trying to like talk. And it's so awkward. I always call it the awkward client dinner, where they're like, we should go grab dinner. Okay. You don't want to say no. We've been at the track all day. Why would we want to go do that? Yeah, let's go do that. That sounds like fun.
Great. It would be so great to just I have been in those situations before where I'm controlling most of the talking and my food's just sitting there, and like, I'll try and work in something when someone else has a little anecdote. Right. But it would be so great to just blatantly eat. You know, like if I was almost just like, well, I've got this idea. What if we took that product, we brought it to market on a truck for this big launch,
and then it's like the longest pause ever, right?
Then we had people show up, and they could sort of demo it like right there on the street.
It's the pause.
It'd be so
like,
good. It'd be so good to see. Or or this is my favorite. It's like, ooh, I've got an idea.
Hey, this came up.
This is, and it's
remember
like that's almost like a power move. Like when you see like mob movies or stuff like that, and there's always two people standing at a table where the boss is eating alone.
Right.
He's just sitting there alone doing his thing.
Soprano always had it really well because he would take bites at the right time, and I loved how he used his fork when he would make it like a point. You and I were at a secret meeting in Indianapolis, I think. And it was lunch. Remember, we're all like, let's just all go grab lunch. And then we found this area that we could go talk into where no one would see us all talking. And the funny part was, it was like you were probably main stage. I was an understudy that would just be filler or just literally stand behind you and go pew, pew, pew. Like I would just say things like, yeah, what he's saying is smart. But I just remember like, John's not going to be able to eat because we're trying to figure something out. And there were so many of them. Do you remember that? Like there were just so many of them. I wish I could say the company, but
I think I know the company.
We all went, and it was like, I think there was just 3 of us, and everyone at first started just fucking around. Like, what sandwich you get? Oh, did you get a pickle here? Do you want my pickle? Like, I was just like, could we just talk? Who gives a fuck if you got the right chips or not? It's always that thing also when agencies bring in food with the client and you go to Jimmy John's or something like that, and there's a bunch of sandwiches and like, who ordered the roast beef? See, okay, here's just, it's a half an hour of just who's doing what. And then everyone's just eating. And then we're like, well, let's get to it. Let's let's see like slot. And everyone's eating. I'm like, this is weird. This is just, it's like literally trying to make some big decisions during Thanksgiving. Like it's not going to happen. Like, but agencies, we love bringing in lunch. Let's bring in lunch. We're going to bring in lunch.
Right.
And then there's like, sometimes it's a buffet table and then everyone has to fucking get up and go like fix a plate and then bring it down and talk about how much the barbecue tastes really good. And I'm literally like on the side, like, can we go? I've got shit to do.
The brought in lunch too is like, I'm pretty particular about my sandwiches.
Right.
And like, so when there's just a plate of pre-made sandwiches, I'm like looking it over. I'm like, oh, this looks like turkey.
This is turkey.
Yeah. So I'll put half the sandwich on my plate. Right. I'll go back there and I'm like, I don't know what the hell this schmear is. Like, it's not mustard, but it's green.
Some sort
of, I don't know what this is, right?
Pesto.
There's walnuts.
Right.
I don't need walnuts on my turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
This fancy crap.
It's always, there was always like, also let's place an order and the menu goes around. Cause now everyone can do it on an app or something. Right. There's some sort of app that everyone can do that. But it used to be, you got the menu and like whoever was lowest on the totem pole had to take the order. God fucking forbid if it was wrong. It's like, I didn't want tomatoes on this. Like all of a sudden you're a waiter or a waitress. Like,
and then you have to show, well, look, it says no tomatoes. Like those are them screw up.
Right. And if you're the account person, you're sweating that part of the lunch. Where's the lunch? It's 12:30. Susan, where's the lunch? Is the lunch coming in? And you're just trying to like literally have a meeting, but also know that there's lunch coming in. Right. Lunch is late.
You're not even concentrating on the meeting because you're obsessed with where's lunch.
Where's lunch? Yeah.
You know what I hate too, though? This at formal client dinners when we're sitting there is like, because I have to behave. Like I can't like eat fast. I can't eat big bites. Like I'm a terrible. I'll get to that in a minute because I'm a fast, messy eater.
Yeah, I just established that.
That's how I do it, right? I've got some stories too.
Get after it.
Legit stories. And but what I hate the most is like let's say we get an appetizer. We get like, shrimp cocktail or like oysters or something, right?
The seafood tower. That's always a baller fucking move.
So we get the, we'll call them oysters.
Yeah.
And then, like I'll know there's like, who likes oysters? Will you eat oysters? You have 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's 4 people. I'm the
a dozen. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get, 15 or whatever it is, right? So like we'll all eat our allotted, like I'll be like, all right, I get 3.
Yeah. Math. Right.
So we all eat. And then one person doesn't eat one. And like, I'm actually keeping score. That's how fucked up I am. I'm like, this is my third. I think he's had 3. She only has 1 shell in front of her. So that's probably 1. So those
she's just being polite.
Like,
so there's one sitting there.
It could not even be my dinner. Someone else could have organized it, paid for everything. I'm still keeping score of the appetizer distribution.
Right.
Because I'm fucked up. Right. Because I'm looking at right. Because I want 5. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Yeah.
And then what happens is I'll know that she only had 1 and there's 2 oysters sitting there. And then they just sit there. And they're in front of her, you know, because the ice, the way, you know, and
the ice is melting.
So now we're talking about things, but all I'm saying is like, I want one of those 2.
But I don't want 4 because then I'm going to look like I'm,
yeah. But I can't just reach over, and she might still want them. And I'm not going to say to her,
do you want
these? Are you eating those 2? Because then she'll be like, are you keeping score?
Right.
Like, do you, you know, and then because the answer is yes, I am. Right.
And it's so much to have in our heads. Plus trying to talk to the client.
Right. And then, so what happens, and this is, I mean, I'm telling you, for me personally, it's like a funeral march. The waiter will come over and say, is everyone done? And I'll watch those 2 beautiful oysters get taken away. Yeah. Because I can't just go, whoa. You know, like bring them here. Yeah. That's it. And then business life. Yeah. Then I think, like the next 5 minutes are ruined for me. Right. Because I'm just like, I totally could have taken 1. Right. They were delicious. I want another one. I do that with like every appetizer, everything that comes out there. Shrimp cocktail. Okay, there's 6 of us. There's 12 shrimp cocktail. We all get 2. I eat my 2. He had 2. She had 1. There's always 1. He had 2. He had 1. Like I'm literally keeping score. Right. Yeah, it's funny because we've all been in those situations with the client lunch or the client dinner, and when and if still in client services, it's always there, man. And I don't even know if people do that anymore because of COVID and shit. Like the client lunch and client dinner and let's go out. I'm sure there's client dinner still, but let's bring in lunch into the office, because that was always so stressed out. I was always so stressed out about lunch because I had this one client. She loved specific restaurants. She loves specific restaurants. And like, then I would have to order from, like, say it was a Greek place. And she's like, can we get lunch there? What am I going to say? No? Like, yeah. I'm like, of course. I have to drive across town to pick up some fucking Greek food and bring it back. And everyone just thinks this shit just like magically falls out of the air. You know, like they really don't deliver. So you have to go get it. And you're trying to make her feel special. And she's like, oh, you shouldn't have. I'm like, you're the client. I'm the client, douche. So yeah, I have to do that. I'm the suit. So I have to go get the food and bring it back and make sure everyone's order is okay. Make sure everyone has their sodas. Make sure everyone has their whatever they're going to fucking, and there's enough tzatziki sauce that everyone like can fucking go nuts on it. But I've been in that mode so many times where I'm like, I have to drive across town, go get it, and bring it back because I don't trust anyone else to do it because I'm a freak. So I'm just like, so I'm going to go do that. You know, it's just. Before I forget the story, this happened like maybe 2 months ago. We were in Manhattan. I was with some other people from another big company, and we were meeting with a very big company that you've heard of. And there's 3 of us on our side, a couple people on their side. And she sent us a link the night before to like a salad place. Oh, yeah. Like, so you basically, you choose from salads. And then once you dial in on your foundation, you could be like, I don't want blue cheese. I want more bacon. I want that. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's like build 12 salads, and then you can sort of micromanage those salads. So we're at breakfast the next morning at the hotel before the 3 of us walked over to this meeting. And we're sitting down with this one guy, and he goes, I don't think I did the app right last. Did you get the link for the salad? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'm dreading the fact that I might have only ordered dressing. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like cup of dressing? He goes, I clicked it, and he's showing me on his phone. He's like, I clicked it. It went here. I did this. It said pick a dressing. I did this. It says bottle. And there is no just dressing. It just says bottle. I say, yes. I put that in. Then I hit deliver. Right. And he goes, I just I don't even see the salad in the cart. And I'm like, well, where'd the salad go? Right. So I'm like, let me try my phone. Right. So I pull out my phone. I'm like, what do you want? So I do this, this, this. It looks like it's working. It comes up, it comes up as a full salad on the checkout. I go, this is exactly what you want, right? I was like, let me put your name on there. And I added it to the cart. And he's like, okay, perfect, right? So we're at the meeting, and this little helper comes in.
The cart
comes in with these couple bags. You know, it's a conference room table, puts them out there. So she starts pulling. She's like, ranch, Cobb salad, shrimp, something salad, right? She pulled. Then all of a sudden, she just pulls out this bottle of dressing. And
like
it's like
straw.
It's their brand bottle of dressing,
right?
And she's just staring at it like,
right.
And
fuck's this?
What's so great is he just goes, yeah, that's mine. She's like, oh, right. So, and he goes, no, I tried ordering it and it was all screwed. But like I was like, my face covered, like just watching her pull, because I'd forgotten. Like we all had forgotten about him saying that in the morning. So it was one of those bombs that went off, because like there was, I wasn't sitting there being like, oh, I hope there's not dressing. I hope totally forgot. So I just saw her face, and then she just, oh, it's so good.
Did he just like put a straw in it? And he's like,
well, what's funny is we were like, and the dressing was really good.
Oh, and yeah.
We like, you know what?
Whole
like
bottle.
You need to keep this ranch dressing like in your company fridge.
You will always remember us.
Yeah, we
from
can't
this
take
ranch
it. Like,
dressing.
for me, it'd be a train. For them, it was a plane. Like, we can't take this dressing all day. Like, is dressing one of those I think it's like mayonnaise for sure is one of those condiments that like I've spent most of my life thinking if it gets too hot, I'll die. Like, is that one of those ones that like spoil? Like, oh, mayonnaise out. Mayonnaise will kill you.
Anything like, mayonnaise based in the sun or sitting outside for a while, I don't know if it'll kill you. It'll ruin your day.
It'll tear you up.
Oh yeah, it'll ruin your day.
Because every once in a while, like I'll get a sandwich with mayonnaise on it. We've covered this ad nauseum, right? I'm a mayo guy, and it'll be sitting out for like 3 hours, and I'll come back to it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to put this in the fridge, and I'm like, it's been room temperature for 3 hours. Am I gonna die eating this? I don't know.
When in doubt, like, throw it out.
Yeah, but then when you go to like Chick-fil-A, the mayonnaise packets are not refrigerated.
Science. Yeah.
Are they insulated? Is this some cooling thing?
This fucking science or something. Yeah, I don't know. Like I just know, like I always was from the school of like, if you, the other funny part is we have to talk about is when you have your client meeting and the client leaves and everyone's talking, and I didn't get to eat, but everyone else did. And then it goes over the intercom, food in the conference room, food in the conference room for anyone. And then all the fucking people, programmers, usually programmers, no offense if anyone listens to this, designers, all those people, like jackals, like they'll just rip shit apart.
I call that the cookie march.
Yeah.
Because usually
they just come in,
and then they're like big tray of dessert cookies that are left over that no one touches.
Looking around.
And they all come in and get the cookies.
Because the room still feels like something happened in here. Like, I don't know, business happened or something happened. And some people are like looking around like, oh, so they got tacos, huh? And then they're eating fucking tacos because I didn't get to eat because I had to talk the whole time. So, but I always felt I loved that parade. I loved the parade of there's food in the conference room. Or now it's an email. And you can hear them coming.
I'll say this too.
And you're still wrapping up your like laptop and still trying to like clean up all the pens and shit. And then just the jackals come in and eat everything.
So what's funny is like when I was more junior, right? Like I remember vividly being the jackal, right? Mm-hmm. And so there have been times where I would, like, if I'm starving at the agency and I'll walk by a conference room and just see everyone has food. So I know that eating's been in progress. It's probably over. Right. I've seen some empty plates. Like I know that they've been at it for a while. And then I'll look and be like, there's still like a dozen sandwiches on that tray. And I see a bowl of salad, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some
Right.
accoutrements, whatever, 2 or 3 unopened bag of potato chips. I'm like, I'm waiting for this meeting to be done.
Right.
I'm not going out and getting lunch. I'm starving. And like, I will every 5 or 10 minutes, I'll like pretend to go to the bathroom. Like I'll walk by the conference room, take a
Right.
quick glimpse, walk by the other way. Like I'm not even waiting for the announcement. Like
Right.
I'm legitimately, you know, it's like the jackal. I'm basically in the bushes, right?
Right.
Like I'm staring, and I'm like, because I want first dibs. I don't want to get stuck with the warm tuna, you know,
Right.
you
No.
know, or the weird chicken patty with vegetables, like a I don't know, what do you put on top of like zucchini,
Mm-hmm.
like the zucchini sandwich. I want
Yeah.
that.
It was that. And then the older you get, the more you're just like, okay. You know what I mean? Like I remember when we were all working together and we broke up in teams and it was like one of those late nights. And we were so used to being late nights that it wasn't a big deal. And that sounds hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're like in agency life, like you just had late nights. They were like, we have to get this shit together for tomorrow's thing. It's not really there. And you just knew you're going to be pulling an all nighter. And maybe that makes me sound like an angry old guy. But then there were times where the older you got, the more in your career, I remember when we were all working together, there was a pitch we were doing and we broke up in teams and you guys got like pizza and food because we knew we were going to be working and you guys were actually gracious. So I'm not just saying this because you're in the room of like, if you have family shit, go do it. We'll pick up your slack. But if you don't, like we all got to like all hands on deck. We all have to do this. And there was this energy. It always like this energy, like we're doing something, you know, like, and I always loved that. And I hated that when agencies made you feel like you had to do it, but you wanted to be there and you're like, this is why we do what we do. We're like here, we're going to fucking grind this out. We're going to figure it out. And we're all going to pitch our ideas to each other. And the best man wins and like best or lady wins or they, them wins. You know what I mean? Like the best person wins. But where I'm getting to it is when agencies have worked in the past where they're like, well, we're going to provide pizza. Like I can buy a pizza. Like, don't, I mean, like,
Right.
don't dangle pizza in front of me like I'm like, oh God, wait, you're gonna get pizza? Oh well, okay, then I'm
Probably
staying.
the exact same brand I like with the exact same toppings, right? Right.
If
You're
there's
getting it from my
food there,
favorite place.
cool. You know what I mean? Like, but don't make it a big deal. Literally, don't make it a big deal. But I just remember when agencies would dangle in, well, we're gonna be bringing in pizza. I'm like, really? Pizza? I'm staying. Like, you know what I mean? It was
kind
for free. I don't have to.
At the last agency I worked at before we started this was we were pitching Panera Bread, and they were coming to do a site visit. I remember there was probably about 6, 7, 8 Panera executives, and there's probably like 8 of us in the meeting. And they went out and got just a shitload of Panera. Like that was what the lunch was. And I remember they were just like, "Oh, we definitely have to bring in Panera," and they were all like, you know, almost high fiving.
Right.
And I was the only person. I said, I don't think they want Panera.
No.
Like that is all they're exposed to. Like I think that they would love something else.
Right.
And they were like, "Well, what else?" I said, "You go to a mom and pop. You don't have to go to their competition." You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, see, I would have gone to their competition and been like, what don't we like about this?
Well, you're smart at that kind of shit than I am, right? So that would have been the right answer, right? So, but they were like, no. So they brought us Panera, and like I remember the people were just like, "Oh, hey, Panera," like, and I'm thinking like, do you think you're going to win the account because you wouldn't spend money at their store and like you eat? Like, are you proving to them that you eat it? I remember just thinking like that. What isn't that the last thing they want? Like the guy comes home and you know, like his family's like, "So how was that meeting you had today?" It's like, I had fucking Panera.
But you know what would have been better psychology too is the night before you get Panera and don't empty the trash cans and leave all the napkins and shit around the conference room and then bring in the other food just so they see that, oh, you guys had a shitload of our food while you were putting this together. You know, it's just, it's all like fucking with someone's head. And like, you're going like, oh, wow, they really like, you know, I guess they bought our stuff. They must have really thought about our product.
So
spaghetti.
No, I was going to, like, I didn't even ask you, like, are you like, I would consider myself a very bad eater.
Hmm.
Like I'm not good at it. I'm great at eating.
Right.
Right. But I'm not, I'm good at eating as a whole. I'll
Right.
eat
It goes in
anything,
your
anytime.
mouth. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But the act of eating, I don't think I've really mastered. Like things will drop. I eat fast.
Right.
Like there's
things will
like,
drop.
you know what's funny? This too, like this is, and again, just welcome to my fucked up psychology. There are times where like if we're going to an Italian restaurant and it's a nicer dinner, I won't wear my favorite shirt because
you're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah. Like I have definitely stained enough stuff
Right.
with like oil-based salad dressing or sauces, you know, where I actually don't wear some of my favorite clothes to dinners because I'm scared that they're gonna die.
Wow.
That's how bad I am. It's bad. Like I'm real bad. And
yeah, it's pretty bad.
There's what the story I was talking about earlier is like one time my friend and I went out to lunch. It was a Mexican place in DC. And we sat down and I got quesadillas. You know, so there's 4 of them, you know, it's like a half circle.
Yeah.
In triangles.
It's like a Mexican pizza.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, quesadillas. Right. So there's
not hard to eat.
4 triangles. Then like there's the shredded lettuce, the sour cream, the guacamole, like the stuff you slap on the side of it, right? You're taking bites. And so, you know, I finish because I'm a fast eater, which probably is why I can't.
I have noticed that. I haven't eaten with you in a while, but I do remember you.
I'm a very fast eater.
Destroying some food. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just shoveling it in my mouth like I'm on a time limit, right? And you know, he's eating normally, and
he's eating normally. He's eating like a human.
Even looking down and being like, hey, this wasn't bad. Like no, like I always do the little like I look and see like who I've killed this meal, right? In terms of my wardrobe. So I'm looking, I'm like, yeah, this all seems pretty good, right? The waitress comes over. He finally, another 8 minutes, he's done. The waitress comes over. She picks up his plate, you know, busses it, picks up my plate. Underneath my plate is like a small child's meal. There's lettuce shrapnel. There's half of a little quesadilla piece.
Right.
There's some sour cream. There's cheese toppings like under my plate. And she just kind of stares at it. Like it looks like I made a mess and hid it. That's what it looks like. And she just kind of just stares at it for a second and then just walks away. And my friend goes, "You are fucking unbelievable." And I'm like, because like they're like, you ate you caused such a ruckus in the area that your plate lifted off the table and you got stuff underneath the plate. Like you were eating so aggressively.
How you did that?
And so fast that you created a vortex, you know? Right. And like stuff went, like my mess was under my plate.
I'm thinking of all the restaurants you've been to where when you leave, they bring out that thing to like, it's not a vacuum. You just move it back and forth.
Yeah, that thing saved my marriage. Remember we talked about that.
I know that. Leg. I love that story.
That saved my marriage. Yeah, literally that machine.
That guy. Where were we? We were at like an ice cream place, and that guy came out, and you're like, "I got a good story about one of those." And like that guy saved my marriage, and I was like, "Really?"
Like there's
best story. We'll save that.
It's weird to think. Like I look at my $2 and like you would not be here.
Yeah.
If not for that little.
That guy.
A little vacuum guy.
Vacuum, but it's not even a vacuum. It's like a push crumb getter.
I'll give the listeners Cliff Notes just in case they missed that. We've definitely podcasted about it, but Cliff Note version, 30-second version. Wife and I were breaking up at a crab house. We were having a.
But you weren't married yet.
Weren't married. We were dating. We were literally breaking up. We're having this serious conversation about why there might not be a future, and do we just end this now, or do we waste time trying to see where it could go? And for about 75% of that conversation, there's a busboy standing in the aisle next to our table with one of those little vacuum things that just suck up. Like there's no power to it.
Right.
They're pushing this thing over a crab leg 100 times. And this guy cannot get the crab leg in the vacuum. He just keeps trying. And we're having a breakup. And this guy is a foot from us, just doing this. So finally,
kept trying.
Finally, we
doesn't lean over and pick it up.
we both just stopped what we're talking about because it's a private conversation. And now we're just quiet watching this guy. And he doesn't even really know he's looking down like he's on a mission. He finally just bends over, picks up, and walks away. Her and I look at each other, and we just start laughing so hard. Like we're hysterically laughing at what we just saw. It was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He stood there with this little crab leg.
That's in a scene in my movie.
Yeah. And we fall in love again, like on the spot, because that's just how her and I we're so connected, you know.
You have to. But that guy follows you around. When you go, like when you're a billionaire, John, there will be someone on the payroll that's all they do. They just clean up, and you just like, fuck it. I'm a messy eater, and this is Chad, and he's going to clean up after me.
That's if I were rich, because I already do this, right? We talked about this. I got a lot of comments about our body dysmorphia, by the way.
Oh,
yeah. People are like, wow, that's like, it's, yeah, you know, they just thought it was interesting that we just talked about how fucked up we think we look, but everyone does, right?
Everyone does. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone does. Like if you don't, you're lying. Right. But I've well documented how weird I am about clothes and fit and what I like. Right. So I've already said, like, if I find something I love, I buy 2 of them just to have one backup. Right. The thing I would love the most about like cartoon money wealth is to just have a closet dedicated to like a couple of my favorite shirts.
Yeah.
So like if I find a great button down shirt, like I'll buy 20 of them, and essentially they just become a Pez dispenser, right?
Now
like,
you can wear whatever you want.
Yeah. I can take, you know, what do you call it? Like fried shrimp,
right?
Or no, the shrimp that's in like the butter sauce, oil, stuff like that.
Shrimp scampi?
Yes. And it can drip. It can stay in the shirt. It doesn't matter.
Like, just pour it over your head.
I'll just go home, throw out that shirt, like next one up, you know?
Fuck it, I'm rich. That's Floyd Merriweather Jr., the boxer. Retired. I think he's 50 now, boxing. He only wears t-shirts once. He only wears shirts once. Just, I'm wearing that once. And then I'm like, then what? He buys a new one. Then he has just an unlimited supply of clothing.
He just throws it away?
I guess. I hope not, because that just was wasteful. But I was like, it's funny that he admitted that. He's like, yeah, I only wear that. He's like a Dolce & Gabbana t-shirt that's probably like $150 and wears it once. And that's rich. That's fuck you, rich. That's like, I'm only wear that once.
He also doesn't have the same clothing insecurities I do. Because when I find something I like that fits, I wear that. Like I protect it.
Yeah. Well, now you wouldn't if you had fuck you money, you know,
but if I did have fuck you money, I wouldn't just throw it away. Like I would be less careful about it.
Yeah.
Because I'd have 50 more going down the whole closet.
Right.
But I wouldn't throw it away.
I would consider myself more of a careful eater. But there's been, you know, there's times where I will put way too much food in my mouth because I get excited about something. Like my problem is not my problem. Yeah. My challenge is when I see something like on a tasting menu, like if you do a tasting menu and everything kind of comes out and it's quote unquote bite size. Well, sometimes it's not bite size, but I take it very literally. I'm just going to shove it all in my mouth and then I'll deal with it. And I've done that at times where I'm like, ooh, that was a little too much. Now I've been known to definitely like, did you just shove all that in your mouth? Like, oh yeah, you know, that all went in there. That all went in there. But I really don't wear my food. But I definitely I do, like you, get excited about food, but I'm super hyper. Again, it gives with how fucked up you are. I'm super hyper aware of like my presence of eating. So I'm always like really paranoid that I have food in my teeth. That's like another problem. I mean, I think the 30 people that listen to this thing are probably like, these guys are a mess. Like, well, at least we're sharing.
Yeah,
at least we're sharing. We're like, I have, even if I'm in love with you, I will still like be so fucked up in my head that I have food in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why.
You know what's worse than that? When you notice food in someone else's mouth that you're not comfortable enough to say, like, yeah, you got spinach.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's someone special where you just like lean over and like pick it off their face or something.
My business partner for a long time, until we finally just started laughing about it. It was almost like a weird old Monty Python sketch where like I would just be sitting down, and we'd be eating together. And then I would just go, and then he would go, and then I would look at him and see him do that and be like, and then he would do that. Like we both, like I started, or I would just wipe my nose. Then he would start going, then I would be like,
it's the worst.
What did I just dislodge? So we'd be having this dance at a table with other people for no reason.
And you're literally rubbing, you're rubbing your skin raw. Just
like
trying
I'm the
to
first base coach in a baseball thing. Yeah, like I'm sending him a signal like, I had an itch. And then he'll itch back. And I'm like, ooh, did my itch dislodge something? So then I'll do that. And then he's like, I didn't get it yet. And we don't know when to end. So finally, like it happened where he and I were just together. And I'm like, why are you doing that? He goes, well, I thought you said I had something there. I'm like, I had an itch. He's like, well, I was itching. I was like, well, then you made me think that I had something there. He's like, well, then you made me think, But when you see someone else with something weird and you don't want to embarrass them by saying something, but then they leave to go to the bathroom. And now you sort of regret not saying something because they're going to see it and be like, how long was this here? Like, then it's even more embarrassing.
How do you feel about a zipper down?
Oh, fuck. That's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
It's literally one of the worst predicaments I could probably be, other than being buried alive. Other than being buried alive, it's someone I'm not 100% comfortable with. Now 100. So it could be 99% comfortable with you. I don't still don't know what I'm doing.
I would say your zipper's down.
Yeah.
Right. Because
I would do your zipper for you.
The implication with my teeth. Let me get that for you.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, okay. That's how it is. All right.
But because the immediate implication and probably the jokes that are going to follow is that you're just staring at their crotch. Right.
Right.
Because that's how you see it. That's where the eye line is, right?
Yeah.
But an open zipper is something that is noticeable that draws attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they walked out and they painted a smiley face on their groin, it'd be weird to not say something.
Correct. Well,
because your eyes go to something that looks askew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an open zipper looks askew. Like that's why your eyes go down there. It's not like you're checking them out, coming back to the table, like, that's a hell of a midsection you got there.
Yeah.
It looks askew, so your eyes go there.
It's how you say it. It's how you say it, when you say it. Do you say it? Do you pull them aside and be like, hey, your zipper's down? And they're like, oop, 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 oop. Or they're just like, yeah, it is. Like, then you're putting the person in sort of like a defensive mode of like, just do it, just deal with it, or just go to the bathroom. But it's literally, I probably just got sweaty thinking about it.
I know. It's the worst.
It's the worst. And that, again, I'm hyper sensitive to my zipper being down. So it's like,
all the time.
I feel like I probably look like, here's a tennis reference, Nadal. Like I'm just touching myself for OCD, like nose, okay, teeth, zipper. I'm all check. And I'm just going to go literally into a safe environment.
I check it enough where like I'll be like if I'm standing in the doorway of an office where there's like a female coworker and she's at her desk and I'm standing in the thing, like even mid talk, I will go down and just make like I'll tug on it to make sure it's
give it a tap. Yep.
Then I get self-conscious. Like once I do that, I go, but does she think I'm touching myself?
Yeah. Now I'm touching my crotch in front of her. So
like there's no win. But I'd almost rather think that than stand there with a open door.
Right. Oh my gosh. You're gonna hate me. My computer's on low battery. I'm playing without a net right now. My earphones died. I'm like, hey, I plugged my earphones in and we should be good. And I'm like, low battery.
So zipper. I have a pair of shorts that fit great, right? Even with my no ass, they slide down because my waist is like this and my midsection's like that. They fit great. They're not cargo. They're like straight, like they look good. They're like a light enough beige where like I can wear most color tops with it. Love them. They're my favorite pair of shorts. But the zipper is something is weird with the zipper where even zipped, it looks unzipped. So like even though it's all the way up, it's parted a little bit.
It's like a dick tent.
I don't know.
Do you ever see those? I call those dick tents.
in the underwear where it's sort of
no, just in your pants, like
right?
men's pants when you sit and it bunches up and it's like this part of the material that just kind of like, and then it opens up when the fillets open.
Maybe. I don't know.
I just call this dick tents.
This for me,
Patent
it's like
pending.
just usually when the thing goes down, there's like a flap and it just kind of goes over, and you don't even see the zipper. You don't even like on shorts or like you rarely even see the zipper because there's like it's sort of tucked underneath a little
flap
there.
Yeah.
This one, the flap is to the left, so you can see a little bit, and it looks open. It looks like an open fly, and I'm like, so now when I wear those shorts, of course I still do, right? Because to me it's more important that it fits up here than have an open fly. I find myself constantly like pulling the little flap over, and then like a couple minutes later pulling the little flap over.
But you love those shorts.
Love the shorts.
It's a love.
There's always something, man. I just can't have one fucking perfect thing. Right. There's always something. There's always a glitch, and like, and I don't even know if it's a glitch or if it's me finding it. But I do know when I put those shorts on, I'll come downstairs and my wife will go, "Your fly's open." I go, "Fuck," like because I know it's not. It's just the cut of the shorts.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I got.
Spaghetti. That's all I got.
So what are we gonna do? We can cut this thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a break, right? This will be episode 10. We'll call it mid-season. You know what they do now, like mid-season finale.
Oh,
where
really?
Like they'll do 20 shows or 12 shows and they'll drop 6.
Is our producer gonna put like a blooper reel together, or just me saying "fuck" over and over and over again? That'd be funny.
We'll do some. Yeah, we'll do a rerun. Right, we'll release episode 1.
Right.
We're going to be in rerun for the next 10 weeks. It's so good.
We'll go from. Our numbers will just dwindle.
I feel like I already heard these rants.
Yeah, they already ranted about that. Cottage cheese. They talked about that.
No, we'll take a little break. We've got some vacations and stuff, and we'll start this thing back up. I don't know, a couple weeks maybe.
Yep.
I mean, we might record a couple. We'll probably record 2 tomorrow. The thing is, we don't have a schedule, so I don't even know how. We have no schedule. It's a text message. You feel like podcasting? Yeah. Sure.
I don't have a job.
I wouldn't be in this if I knew we were podcasting today.
Right.
Or maybe I would. Why would I be in this in my office, but not for on camera?
I don't know. But you look like you haven't eaten yet, though. There's a callback.
Yeah. No, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Why would I wear like I don't leave the house unless I feel comfortable in what I'm wearing. So I probably would, like, if you said this podcast late when I was at home,
right,
I probably would have put this on.
And this is the first time I think in the podcast that I've been on the porch. So it's been, a new background for everybody.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you. Again, keep the comments coming.
If you're ever eating with me, just be careful. And we will be back in a couple weeks.
Yes. Thank you all for listening. Please tell your friends. Click, 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 subscribe, all that shit.
Comment.
Comment.
All right. Peace.